Have you ever found yourself building a really beautiful email newsletter, then hitting the send button and then just getting complete crickets? I'm talking nothing, like no replies or even any open. Bottom line, you just wasted a bunch of time crafting this really great email only for it to get lost in the inbox ether. Super frustrating, right? But what if I told you there's a way to turn every email you send into a conversation starter? To get your email database to not only open your emails, but read them and actually respond to them every single time. In this video, I want to show you how to turn your email blasts into personal chats. I want to break down exactly how to get your emails opened and then turn them into genuine one-on-one conversations. And later, I'm going to break down a game-changing trick that boosted my email reply rate to above 60%. Imagine what that can do for your business. So let's dive in. By the way, if this is our first time meeting, my name is Emmanuel, and this channel is all about giving solopreneurs solid strategies that are simple and that actually work. Listen, over the years, I've helped craft thousands of email campaigns. Some worked, a whole bunch didn't. A lot of lessons learned in the process, and I want to share them with you so that you don't have to. That said, everything that we're going to be covering in this video is proven, it's actionable, and it's designed to be simple. Because at the end of the day, you got a business to run. And the last thing that you want to be doing is spending hours on end writing emails. Okay, I first want to start off by shifting a belief. Now, I'm sure you've been told or maybe wooed by some fancy emails. Real talk, I believe that really fancy emails, that was a thing too. And I remember when I just started off in business, I would spend hours on MailChimp and Photoshop designing some real cool images and some graphics, and then write up these little mini blog articles about tips and updates and trends and whatever else I could think of. And on some of the email blasts that I would make, it would take me like 2 or 3 days to put all of that content together. Then I would try my best to send out these emails at least once a week, but then it started to turn into like once a month because it was so darn hard to really make them. And I honestly thought that I was doing pretty good because I would look at the analytics and I was like, oh, hey, look, I have an over 30% open rate. Now, here's the thing about open rates. Everyone says that above a 30% is really great for an email campaign, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean crap if no one's replying to your email. Which brings me to the point of email newsletters. They're really designed to speak at your audience, not with them. I mean, seriously, when was the last time you actually replied to an email newsletter? Probably never. But I can almost guarantee that if a friend emailed you, you definitely reply. You see, if you want more business, then you need to have a conversation. You need to make a connection with the people that you're actually emailing, because that's the only way they're gonna feel seen, heard, and valued. And that really creates know, like, and trust that you will need in order to acquire your next client or maybe get your next sale. So instead of sending out a one-to-many email newsletter campaign, the way that you actually get replies is by sending a one-to-one email blast. Now, there are a ton of benefits to go this route. First being that you're immediately able to increase engagement. You're actually going to find that more people will actually read your emails because they seem a lot more personal. Second, you'll absolutely get a higher response rate. I mean, think about it. If someone is sending you a personal email, you'll feel more obligated to respond, right? This exact same psychology works here. The next big benefit is that when you start to create one-to-one relationships via your email, you actually improve trust. And people buy from people that they trust. At the end of the day, personalized emails make your audience feel like you're actually getting them, and you're also getting to know them too. And this creates an honest connection that really makes you feel a lot more human. The last big benefit of going this route is that it's all about efficiency. I mean, who has the time to draft up and design this elaborate newsletter? A simple, just plainly written text email is a lot easier to make and a heck of a lot faster to send. All right, now that you understand why the strategy is better, let's break down the how. See, the goal of a solid one-to-one style email strategy is that you have to make it as simple as possible. And when I say that, that's not really just stripping away the cool graphics and design. It's really just digging deeper into that. It's more about creating authenticity, speaking directly to the person that's reading the email, even if you're sending out thousands of emails at a time. So the first piece to this is that you need to make sure that these emails are personalized. And I don't just mean that you're just going to add the merge tag of their first name in the email. This actually goes beyond that. This strategy is super powerful if you know the main challenges and struggles of the recipients of those emails and you actually reference that. Next piece is that you gotta keep this conversational. Look, I think a lot of times we get caught up in writing emails that try to sound way too corporate and professional, but that's not really how we talk in real life. If you want people to reply to our emails, we have to write like we talk. Write as if you're emailing a family member or a friend. It just sounds way more genuine. Next piece of this is that you have to have a clear call to action. But instead of really trying to push a sale, Instead, the call to action should be to ask the question. And I actually think that this is one of the biggest misconceptions with emails. When you push for a sale at the end of an email, you end up just getting ghosted, at least more times than not. But when you push for a reply, you actually gain a response. And the reply, at the end of the day, that's the true goal. Because the key to getting a sale is to get them into a conversation with you. Now, last big piece of this to get this to work is that you gotta be consistent. Like one email going out, once a month, it's not gonna change the game for you. But now that you know this whole process of just producing one-to-one emails is a lot easier than newsletters, focus on sending emails a heck of a lot more frequently. With this particular format, I personally aim for trying to send out an email a day. But hey, if that's too much for you right off the bat, then aim for maybe a few times a week or at least once a week. By the way, we actually have a more detailed framework inside of the program that we have available to you. If you're interested, it's called Community Builder, and we essentially give you the plan, we teach you how to execute it, and we meet multiple times a week to review the data and then make tweaks on your strategy to really get this to work. So if you're interested to learn a little bit more about that, I'm going to leave a link right below this video for a quick 10-minute chat to see if we can help you out. Now, before you go out and start writing a bunch of emails, because you see how easy the strategy is now, I got to give you some common mistakes that will screw the strategy up. Number one is that you shouldn't be sending generic messages. If you're just adding their name to your email, that's the definition of not a custom email. It's kind of blatantly obvious that it's templated. So a really great example of this is like if you're in real estate, you don't want to be sending the emails that you're sending out to your leads and prospects to your clients. It's just not going to resonate. Instead, you need to know a little bit more about the people in your database. The idea here would be to segment them after you get a little bit more information about them, then create specific emails to go out to those groups of people. It makes a huge difference. Number two, don't overcomplicate these emails. Look, people are swamped with content on a daily basis. If your email looks like a 10,000 word medical report, no one's gonna read this email. The simple fix to this, short, small sentences. Also, no big blocks of text. Space out these sentences. Look, the stuff that you learn in school about writing essays and having these nice paragraphs, they don't actually apply to emails. All right, big mistake number three, it's not tracking your analytics. Data tells a story, and if you're not tracking what email topics get replies and lead to sales, you're essentially driving blind. I also want to add, you don't want to overcomplicate this. Just open up a simple spreadsheet for your data and start tracking the date that you send an email, the topic that it's about, and how many people replied to that. More importantly, how many people actually, from those replies, turned into a sale. Then from there, just analyze the tea leaves, see what worked, and just do more of that. Last big mistake I gotta call out is to not be self-promotional. Stop trying to pitch. It's annoying and no one wants to read those types of emails. Instead, use personal stories to teach a lesson, like provide actual value, teach something, and then maybe end that thing with a question. Then when you get them to respond, pitch, because at that point you're gonna be in a conversation with them. By the way, if you found this video helpful so far, really appreciate it if you can click that like button, the subscribe button, the bell icon, get notified whenever we post future videos just like this, and we really appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that there was a trick that got me a 60% increase in my replies. Well, here's the thing. It's not actually one trick, it's actually three. And each tip really helped increase my response percentage to get me over that 60% hump. All right, big tip number one, don't make your email subjects sound like marketing emails. When you're sending an email to a friend, usually that subject is like 1 or 2 words, super short. And it's because these types of subjects, they sound more one-to-one and a lot more authentic. All right, big tip number two, give away generously in your emails. Like give it all away, all of your secrets. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna find a ton of value in those emails, but they'll never know how to implement it. By the way, I got this from Alex Ramosi, but there's so much truth to it. Okay, last big tip, just ask a question. Actually, this is probably the easiest way to get a response. Don't think about a crazy topic, just ask a question. I actually got this from Dean Jackson. It's called a 9-word, and the premise behind this is simple. Ask a question in 9 words or less. This forces you to ask a very simple yet poignant question to get a response. And you will be surprised how quickly and how easily people will respond to that email.